Five, four, three, two, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
What is going on, folks? Welcome in. Welcome all to another edition of the live stream on a Tuesday night. We are out of sync. We are out of schedule. It's because we were at the game. We had quite the weekend, folks. We have a full podcast episode coming out very shortly. As I say shortly, as soon as I get off here and edit it. But in between that, I thought I would hop on here for just a minute, maybe until 9:30, and see how you guys are doing out there. Appreciate y'all tuning in. If you are tuned in, be sure to hit the like button. If you are on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. All the fun things that we like to say to help us continue to grow. Just surpassed 50,000 watch hours. That's ridiculous. I think that came out to 7 or 8 years. I don't know. Too long for folks to be watching content and my content, but 50,000 lifetime watch hours on YouTube, big milestone for us. We are currently charting in Brazil on Apple Podcasts for football. So shout out to all the folks that are in Brazil, wherever you are that are tuning into this. It's very hard for us to chart in the top 200 on Apple Podcasts during football season, but we'll eventually get there one day at a time. Hope you guys are doing well, man. We had a crazy, busy, wild weekend, jam-packed with football. And honestly, it was a jam-packed 4 days. We had JV football win over West Brunswick Thursday night. We had the varsity football win over West Brunswick on Friday night. Then Nolan and I surprised them, and we had a full-on boys weekend, man. And unfortunately, part of the boys weekend was the fact that we had to go out and watch the University of North Carolina play football, which, my gosh, it's a disgrace. And I know it is. That is a crap show. We are going to talk about the Carolina Panthers, as we always do, but I can't talk about the weekend and everything that we saw without spending a little bit of time talking about the disaster that is the North Carolina football team. But we had a really good time. We drove up. He had no idea we were doing this. Complete last-minute surprise. So we got up there early enough in Chapel Hill to get down to see the team walk through, get to see Bill Belichick. We actually had the chancellor of the university come up and shake our hands randomly as we were out there waiting. He was just going through his list, kind of like a politician, shaking everybody's hands. So that was fun. The best moment by far, and we're going to have all of this content coming out so you can see some of the highlights, was the Ludacris performance. Ludacris performing at 10 a.m. No matter what you heard from all these other podcasts and all these other folks that want to down Carolina, you wish that you could have Ludacris performing at your university at 10 o'clock in the morning before a football game. I got to tell you, that was the best part. Like, hands down, for the millennial in me, oh my gosh, man. He was out there, supposed to be only 30 minutes of Ludacris. He was, I think, up to like 40, 45 minutes. Might have been a good strategy to just keep him on the entire time and not even have fans go into the stadium and watch the football game, because that wasn't great. It was not good, but I knew it wasn't going to be. Like, I knew coming in that we were not going to see a good football game, at least from the side of North Carolina. I knew that Clemson was going to win by 20, 30 plus at least. And that is exactly what they did. We're going to break down that in just a second. That high level, we're not going to go too far into it. Followed that game up, and yes, we stayed every single second. We were there when everyone was leaving, when recruits were leaving, because we were right there where the recruits were, when students and fans we hung around for the beating because that's what we are and that's what we do. It was fun though. So we went to that, and then we went to the blue and white scrimmage, which is the kickoff to the basketball season. Got to take Nolan to the Dean Dome, which is nice. Big campus, of course. So we walked down to the Dean Dome. We got to watch some basketball, good seats. Got to see Roy Williams across the way, Hubert Davis, of course, Caleb Wilson, who's ridiculous. And I'm not a basketball podcaster, so you're not going to hear me talking a lot about the basketball side of things. I'm a fan of watching, but not when it comes to analyzing and breaking that stuff down, and just watch it for fun. And Julius Peppers was in the building on Saturday, which is pretty cool. He was there off to the side, not officially there to sign autographs or do anything like that, but he was off to the side. He did sign some autographs for some of the kids, and then ended up being at Bank of America Stadium on Sunday for the Legends. I mean, it was a jam-packed weekend for him. Ludacris also rocking one of the coolest jerseys that I've seen, the 49 Julius Peppers Carolina blue jersey was nice. And then Sunday, which is the reason why you guys did not get a live episode, we were at the Panthers game, folks. First Carolina Panthers game in 10 years since the NFC Championship. I was boycotting until we made it back. I'm just kidding. I was not boycotting until we made it back. Life gets in the way. We live 3.5 hours away. I'm married. I had to deal with my dad for forever. And then, of course, kids come along and you have stuff, and it's very hard to get up there. So I took advantage of the fact that it was just me and Nolan. Tickets were very affordable, and I said, screw it, we're going to go to the game. I had all this planned, but when I was planning on this, I was like, we're going to knock all this stuff out in one weekend and have a really good time. And it was fun. We parked like a mile away because I don't care how far I have to walk. I run 4-ish miles a day. So I was like, screw it. We'll go out. We'll walk around a little bit. It was fun. So really good experience, which we'll talk a little bit about the Panthers in just a little bit in their game. But I'll get back to, we are just a small snippet of what we saw on Saturday in Chapel Hill in the state of this program. So number one, yes, there was no way in the world that I had any thought that North Carolina was going to win this game. I've watched them coming into it. Nolan has not been as big of a fan of North Carolina. Like he's just busy with crap. And he came in walking into the stadium. We purchased a North Carolina jersey for him because that's what he wanted, and said, go for it, dude. And then he did not know we were doing all this, so he was wearing a Gamecock shirt underneath the jersey. And at one point, he took off the jersey and was wearing the Gamecock jersey. And then we had a Clemson fan and a North Carolina fan behind us trying to figure out what was going on with him doing that. But I told him, I was like, hey, listen here. He said, do you think North Carolina will win? And I said, hell no. They are not going to win this game. But at some point, if you need to take your jersey off, you just show them the Gamecocks jersey, and you'll tell Clemson fans that, hey, at least you're not going to beat South Carolina. And I kid. The state of the program, though, my gosh. Now, this is not a deep dive analytical breakdown of the University of North Carolina, but we have seen this thing just truly explode. They are one of, if not, maybe some people put Oklahoma State up there. They are, to me, in my mind, this is the worst Power 4 program in all of college football. And honestly, you're not going to convince me that they're not one of the worst teams in all of FBS. So Group of 5 and Power 4. This is a disaster, folks. And we continue to see bits and pieces of information. That article posted by WRAL that's coming out talking about the state of the program and the kids. Folks, we were right there watching this unfold, and they had all the recruits that were there at the game, like back in front of us, like, I don't know, 10 rows off to the side, right near the field access. I don't know how many left. I don't know who they were, but there were a good portion of folks that the recruits that just got up and left. They're like, as this thing unfolded and became the crap show that it is and they were gone. They're like, I'm not watching this and I'm not putting up with it. Students leaving in the middle of the first quarter. And I don't blame them. Like, it is ridiculous to see the product that's put out there, because the amount of money that's being invested, and it's not my money, so who am I to tell? But the amount of money that's being invested into that program, I don't think anyone is saying that this should be a team that competes for a college football playoff, but it should be a team that's consistently okay by Ovi's and Giglio's standards of triangle good. I mean, it really should be in that realm of good for the University of North Carolina. 6, 7 wins, you pop off an 8 and 9, maybe you get to a 10 at some point. It's laughable, and it's really going to be difficult in my mind for them to figure out how to fix it. It just is. Like, I don't know what the solution is. This is the worst of worst cases, as we talked about coming into this season, of like, what best case scenario, things just pop off and you're doing well. Worst case scenario, this is it. I don't think you could get much worse case than this, where there's confusion within the building. You're starting to see recruits that have committed decommit. Now, there was the kid who decommitted had decommitted already, like once before, but I think you're going to continue to see that cycle. I don't know that you could, outside of playing time, what you're actually going to be selling them. I've said all along, the college football game is very different from the NFL. And I'm not talking about necessarily the game itself. I know there's nuances. They're a little bit different. Overtime's different. Kickoff's different. Some of the penalties are not necessarily the same. Yardage, all that. But the game itself, you are dealing with kids. Yes, these are young men, but you're talking about guys that just got out of high school, 18, 19. I know now with COVID years and all that, and fifth years and extra, you get some old dudes in there. Like, not going to lie, 23, 24, 25, whatever. Relatively speaking, you're dealing with some younger kids, and you have to be able to knit that together. And especially in this day and age, when you look at the NIL, you look at the transfer portal, you bring in 70 new people that don't know each other, and maybe one or two has crossed paths before. You have got to have someone that's a strong leader that can bring them together and be able to do that. And my gosh, it's just not. I don't know when the plug is going to get pulled, but it feels like the experiment is already done. We already know the results. And I don't know if Bill's going to just keep hanging on by a thread and hope that maybe next year he figures it out when he gets his recruiting class in. I don't see it. Like, it just, based off of what we've seen, I think we would expect a coach, a good coach, and I'm not even saying, like, remove Bill Belichick, a coach from a group of 5 school. Honestly, any new coach that would have taken over this program outside of someone who's never coached football would be able to kind of piece some things together and at least make them a little more competitive, and not see them be as stagnant and piss poor as they have been. It's not. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't have answers. I don't know. It's not my problem to solve. But I think you've tainted anybody. Now, there's going to be a coach. There's going to be someone that says, I'll follow Bill and I will fix this and we'll get it back on track, but you're probably not going to get as much money. You're not going to get as much investment. But just seeing the reaction this far into it, I don't know what the upside is of keeping him, because if this is what he is with the talent that he has, what makes you think it's going to get that much better? And I know everyone says it, but it is very true that when you think about Bill Belichick, you think about Tom Brady, and you compare him with Brady and without Brady. And he hasn't that good without Brady. And his evaluation and talent evaluation that he had while he was in the NFL with the New England Patriots is part of the reason that he's not in the NFL anymore. Just wasn't doing a good enough job. He wasn't figuring it out. We thought with him being Bill Belichick that he could figure this out, that he would get the job done. And he just didn't. So it is what it is. I mean, and it's funny. You can say, like, people, you can say whatever you want to me. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, you can say, don't care. Like, it's what it is, man. We'll still pull for them. As bad as they are, I will chug along. I don't bounce around. We're here for the long haul. 1 wins, 2 wins. I don't know if they win any more games. That is the truth. They're going to be playing at 10:30 at night in California on Friday. I expect Cal to probably beat them by 30. I don't know what the spread is. I haven't looked, but Cal, it's going to be bad. Ron Rivera out there doing quite the job as the GM for the Cal Bears, keeping things rolling there. So that's it, man. We'll see. Shout out to the Clemson fans, man, because I know there was quite a few Clemson fans that are in the mix. So I'll hat tip you guys for the butt whooping. You just knew it was going to be a bad day when the very first play of the game is a trick play touchdown, and it was just scoop and score. The other thing that pisses me off about Bill Belichick, and I don't know how many people, like, obviously, I doubt that many people stayed tuned into the game to see this thing unfold. In the second half, Dabo Swinney pulled off the dogs. So Dabo Swinney puts in the backup quarterback. I don't know how many other backup position players were in or players across the board, but the Clemson Tigers, they let off the gas. They really did. They probably could have kept their foot on the pedal and put up another 20, maybe put up 50, 60 points and, rode off into the sunset. But they decided to roll, give some younger guys some experience. What really pissed me off, and I'm a Carolina fan, is the fact that at the end of the game, and again, I know people probably didn't tune into this, but it was, 15, 20 seconds left. North Carolina has the ball backed way up close to their goal line. I don't know what the yardage is, but very close to their goal line. And I don't know this sequence of events, but I kid you not, there was a play, there was a first down, clock was running, it's like 10 seconds left. Bill Belichick calls a timeout. I'm like, you have to be the biggest a-hole dickhead. That's not cussing. Dickhead. Say that. To choose to do that. And not only was it like that one time, he followed this up, folks. North Carolina is down 38-10. He follows it up by calling another timeout with 1 second on the clock. The head official referee that was there, of course, or he was pissed. Which I will kind of look back at the post-game handshake, and I can't imagine how that went. Like, who are you trying to piss off? You're telling the social media team, well, when you're telling the New England Patriots they can't recruit your players, I don't know that they won't even want to touch them. You have Drake May on the New England Patriots, and then you've got this memo out that you don't want Drake May and the Patriots promoted, and then that news breaks, and then you suddenly decide at that point that, oh, now we're actually going to go tell our social media team to post him. It is a freaking crap show. It really is. Like, I don't know. North Carolina wanted the publicity. I don't think they wanted this. There's no way they wanted it to be from this side. Where do you go? You got to get him out, in my opinion, regardless of what grain of hope or like piece that you have to get to the end of the season. I mean, honestly, even now at this point, like, I don't know what you're going to really hurt by doing it now. You got to clean it out. And Lombardi, get Lombardi out of there as the GM. That's not going to work. Freddie Kitchens can go. Everyone. Clean the whole thing out. Give the keys to some group of 5 coach or whoever the heck even wants to try to come in and take this job and go from there. So anyways, fun times, man. Fun time. It was fun. We had a good time, though. Like, all the loss and crappy football aside, one thing, though, big difference between the college game and the NFL game as far as being in person, too, is the freaking TV timeouts in college, which we go, like we said, we go to the Gamecocks game each year. It's about 3 minutes, sometimes over 3 minutes. So long. Like, in comparison to what we had with the NFL with your 2 minutes or less, like, it was night and day. Made the game go so much smoother and easier. But all right, man, let's talk about the Carolina Panthers, because that's partly why we are here right now chopping it up, is to talk a little bit about the Carolina Panthers and their performance on Sunday. So we got a full episode of this coming out, so I'm not going to go too far into the weeds. I will check on comments in just a minute. But, man, you go back and look at this game, And man, it was one of those where you watch this unfold and just say, oh my gosh, here we go again. That's exactly what it felt like. That's exactly what I told Nolan as we were sitting up there. You see Dolphins driving down the field, very first opening drive of the game, putting up 3 points. And so you're like, okay, well, that's not terrible. Shortly after that, Carolina Panthers able to move the ball. I mean, relatively speaking, they had gotten all the way down roughly to the Miami 30-yard line. And then Bryce Young fumbles. And you're just like, how? Why? Had Dolphins fans all up there. They were honestly not bad. Now there was quite a few there, and they definitely made it known. But the Dolphins fans around us were pretty nice. They were cool. Not bad at all. But they definitely were coming alive. And I'm sitting back here saying, oh, okay, am I really going to have to watch this again? You have the fumble by Bryce Young. Just feels like, you just let's go the ball. Bradley Chubb bearing down. Touchdown drive by the Miami Dolphins going up 10-0. 2 plays later, the interception. And I just said, what the heck, man? Right over the middle, targeting XL. And I know they at that time were trying to get him involved, trying to just figure things out. Pass right over the top into sense. And you're just like, what is going on? What are we doing? That results in another touchdown, 5 plays, 49 yards. At that point, it's 17-0. And I joked about this when I was recording. My wife does not care about football at all. But, of course, with us being there, like she was following along more than she normally is when I'm watching it. And she was like texting me, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry it's a blowout. I'm like, yeah, me too. Me too. And so you sit back and say, okay, is this really going to be another one of those games? For the Carolina Panthers, not a great start for Bryce Young. I mean, you look at their first half, they had 4 possessions. Half of those were turnovers. And out of those turnovers, that's 14 points. You take those 14 points and maybe the Panthers even score at least 3. It could be a game where it's like 30-10 in favor of the Carolina Panthers, at least. Not nearly as close as what it was. But guess what? It happens. Turnovers happen. So the Carolina Panthers bouncing back, able to put together. I mean, the scoring drives for the Panthers, they were long. So 12 plays, 76 yards. You get it close. So it is roughly almost 3.5 minutes left. It's 17-7. It's like, okay, well, let's start stacking this stuff up. If the Panthers can get a stop and if they can get the ball, if they can get some points, maybe they do have a chance to get back into this. And sure enough, Panthers defense kind of figures it out for the first time. Because in all honesty, when you go back and look at the drives, outside of the opening drive with the field goal that resulted in 3, the other 2 drives in the first half were off of turnovers and decent field position that set them up for that. But you get a 3-and-out. Panthers get the ball. Honestly, move it down pretty close. Had some opportunities to take some shots. They get it all the way down to the 12-yard line with a chance to try to make some plays. And unfortunately, don't come away with the touchdown, but they get 3. And at that point, you're like, okay, 17-10. All the things that happened before this, the fact that the Carolina Panthers are only at this time down by a score and we get the ball, couldn't have asked for anything better. And coming out second half, and you're like, all right, let's figure this thing out. The best thing for us, because we were up in the uppers 505 and we were able to see everything unfold. And from our view, the end zone view, you could see these holes opening up, and it was ridiculous to watch. And you were just hoping that Rico would actually break one of them all the way through. Unable to break one of the long ones all the way in, but my gosh, what a freaking day for him. But you come out 53-yard run to kick it off. And I know Dave Canales addressed the delay of game penalty that came after that, but it felt like a little bit of a momentum killer. Really was hoping the Panthers are going to be able to convert that into a touchdown. But you come away with 13. So at that point, 17-13. Like, okay, we're getting close, but at what point are we going to implode? Because, like, something's got to give. The Panthers defense really buckled down. Came back with a 3-and-out. Unfortunately, Panthers followed that up with a 4-play drive, results in a punt. Give the ball back to the Dolphins. 5-play drive, results in a punt. Panthers get a 6-play drive, results in another punt. And you're kind of just exchanging jabs, field position. What can we flip? What can we do? How are we going to get there? Another 3-and-out by the Dolphins as we entered into the fourth quarter. Panthers followed it up with a 3-and-out. And by then, you're kind of getting nervous. You're saying, okay, how many more possessions do we have? We know we eventually are going to have to connect on one of these. We got to figure this out. 4-play drive by the Dolphins, 20 yards, results in a punt. Panthers get the ball, go 7 plays, 85 yards, and finally take over. They take the lead. Place is going insane in the back. You're sitting there like, oh my gosh, the Carolina Panthers are going to be able to pull this off. About 6 minutes to go in the game at that point. You know, like, okay, we're going to have to play some defense to figure this thing out. 3 plays later, 46-yard pass to Waddle. You just watched that one because we was in the end zone where we were, so you just watched them drop that in the bucket and say, oh my God, of course. We get this close, and we're going to have it ripped right away from underneath us. So 24-20, though, but still time. Panthers end up getting the ball about almost 5 minutes, but 4 minutes to go. Going another insane drive, probably the drive of the season so far, to be honest. Like, if you were to quantify all the drives, game-winning drive for this team, for Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers, and that's pretty much what he's done. So many clutch plays down the stretch. But end up going 8 plays, 83 yards. A big stretch of plays there towards the end as the Carolina Panthers are trying to go in. 4th and 5, the pass to Jimmy Horn Jr., ridiculous. I know a lot of people have talked about it, but it was absolutely ridiculous to see him come down with that. You follow that up with a 12-yard run to ETN, and then finally the touchdown pass to Mitchell Evans to put them up 27-24. I'll tell you, I'll talk about this in the episode, but in the stadium, it looks like we could have gotten to the 2-minute warning while letting the play clock go down, but it was probably like half a second to a second timing off. So they weren't able to do that. But honestly, it may have been good in a way for them to be able to get it off. I think, yes, ideally you'd love to run down as much time as you can, but almost a little bit of, it's not trickery, but, you know, maybe they're thinking that you're not going to run a play and you do run the play. Panthers score. So then they score and you're like, all right, this is fun. 2 minutes is a lot of time. 1 minute and 59 seconds for the Dolphins. Panthers defense buckles down. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous performance as they closed it out. Had the incompletion, kicking it off. It was 1st and 10, passing completion with Corey Thornton in coverage on Waddle. 2nd down, incompletion. Follow that up on 3rd down, 3rd and 10 from their 22, 7-yard loss with the sack by Pat Jones. And then at that point, okay, they're going to punt. Panthers get the ball back with roughly a minute to go. 2 runs. Then it's 3rd and short. You're like, okay, 55 seconds left in the game. Are the Panthers going to run? Just burn the timeout and give them a minute to get down the field and get a field goal. Dave Canales pulls the trigger, man. He makes the decision to allow Bryce Young the opportunity to make a play. And sure enough, as the play is set up, you get the penalty, defensive pass interference, and the coverage on Hunter Renfrow results in a 1st down victory formation for Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers officially 2-0 at home, 2-3 overall with the Dallas Cowboys coming into town this weekend. We know they're going to take over. There is no doubt about that. Like, you look at the ticket prices online too, things are going insane. But this was a nice win. Coming into this week, talked about the Carolina Panthers needing to win 2 out of 3. So being 3-4, I mean, ideally we'd love them to be 4-3, but at least getting to 3 wins before they go on a pretty tough stretch with the Bills, Saints, Packers in the mix. Although, you kind of look at all those teams now, and pretty much any team is vulnerable with the state of the NFL. But for me, Carolina Panthers, I mean, how much do you take of? I take a decent amount away from the fact that they were able to battle. They were able to face the adversity, and that's something that we just haven't seen a lot of out of the Panthers, not just this team, but in general. Okay, you get knocked in the mouth, you fold over, you let it go. And especially Bryce Young, you look at the performance, and I know he did not, like, he cost us 14 points minimum. I mean, he cost 14 points off of turnovers. But the resiliency to keep going now has to be fixed. We cannot, as a team, go out there week after week and dig our holes. We just can't. But there's a lot of positive momentum, in my opinion. You look at the performance of Jimmy Horn Jr. You look at what Xavier was able to do. You look at Rico Dowdle and the offensive line and their performance. Hetero McMillan, who still can't get into the end zone, but just continues to put up numbers. Pass interference on him was pass interference. There were some weird calls that were ridiculous within the stadium. But the Carolina Panthers kind of building something. Again, I know it's the Dolphins. Dolphins are not a good football team, but now is a chance. Like, we have seen too many times, not really over the past 2 years, but we've seen too many times over the past few multiple years, 4, 5, 6 seasons, expanding that out a little bit further, where there's spurts of like, okay, you win a game, can you win another one? Can you win back-to-back games? Can you get to 500? If you can get to 500, hope, things can happen. Again, I'm not here to declare the Carolina Panthers are heading to the playoffs at the moment, but if you want to be in the conversation, you got to win now. You can't dig your hole so deep. And I still believe that and performance keeps speaking for itself, but I still think this is a big year for Bryce Young. No matter what we're seeing, he still has to prove that he's worthy of a 5th-year option, that he's worthy of being the future of the franchise, so that we can actually continue to go out and continue to improve. But it was a big day, in my opinion, for the draft class, for this rookie draft class, for Trevin Wallace. I've been very hard on Wallace, the performance that he had. Christian Rosewood as well. Was it a perfect game? No. Defense did enough. You look at how they smothered the run game of the Miami Dolphins and what they were able to do. And then, of course, what we were able to do on our side of the ball, running the ball as well, if I could talk. So anyways, folks, I'm on here way past the time that I said I was going to be on here. I will quickly catch up on the comments before we close out this episode. I always appreciate y'all tuning in. Charlie, what's good? Big fan. What a game this week. Keep pounding. All right. We got a fan from Canada. Appreciate that, Charlie, as always. SC Panthers fan says, what's up, CD? Yes, back to Bill Belichick. No doubt he is. That's why he's no longer in the NFL. Rings or no rings. It's a crap show, man. It is a complete crap show. It is. What's good, y'all? How are y'all doing? As Road, YouTube, depending on what platform you show up as Roadmaster. All right, I appreciate you. Appreciate y'all tuning in. What's good, Antonio? Oh, we got a score prediction out of the gate. Cowboys 23, Panthers 29. Panthering up. I like it, man. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate y'all. I know this is a shorter stream, but got to go edit this one and enjoy the evening. So appreciate y'all tuning in. I'll be back. New episode coming out. We will be back with our normal live stream on Sunday.